Being a Broadway performer is pretty cool. And a lot of hard work, but getting there is even harder. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm Adrienne Walker. Welcome to 32 Bar Cut. Welcome to Broadway Banter on 32 Bar Cut. I am Adrienne Walker.
I'm Austin Cook.
And today we are going to share with you our top 5 worst auditions. I'm going to give you 3. Austin's going to give you 2. It's going to be very embarrassing for us and hopefully entertaining for you. Here we go. But before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notifications button, and stick with us. Okay. I'm going to start.
You first. I can't wait to hear this.
All right. So this audition was actually not too long ago, and this show will be going to Broadway. So just to give you some context.
Right.
There had been quite a few workshops of this show. I knew about it. I heard rumblings about it. And my agent asked, would I go in? So I said, sure, I'll go in. They gave me the sides. The sides were astronomical. Okay. It was a lot of information. They wanted a scene going into a song, 5 other scenes, but prepare them all, but only be ready to do 3 of them. And I already was pretty turned off by the whole idea. And then when I read the sides, I saw how terrible the writing was. I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm not a playwright, but I am totally being judgmental in this moment. I thought that the writing was terrible. And unfortunately, it's really hard for me to remember lines that I don't like or respect. I know how much of a snob I sound like. I get it. I know I sound like a jerk.
The sides were bad. I saw them. It was really bad.
It was really bad. Yeah. And laughable. Yeah, and really the only reason I went forward is because I really respect the casting company and I didn't want to cancel my audition. Yeah. I also was losing my voice at this time. So I really didn't have time to learn 5 sides. I think it was like 20 pages worth
It was a lot
of material.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And
a song and yeah. So I went in and I had the first 2 pretty good and off book and the scene into the song and all that. And I could tell that I really didn't care because I wore a tunic with baggy jeans and I put on a snatch of makeup and I just didn't care. I was like, this is me. You want me or you don't. I'm not going to make myself all pretty and shiny like a doll for you or whatever. This is one of my worst auditions just because I didn't want to go. I wasn't comfortable with the material. The director was not kind and it was just a terrible experience. And so I went in and I did the first 2 sides and I could tell that the director was kind of, you know, rocking with me a little bit. And then I got to the song and when I finished the song, he says, are you struggling? And I said, yeah, I am struggling. You know, I'm in a show 8 times a week and I'm doing these stupid auditions for you. Yeah, I'm struggling. And then he asked me to do another scene. And he was fishing. He was trying to decide which scene he wanted. Mind you, I had to prepare all 5, but I got to choose the 3 I was going to do. So I was like, well, I chose this scene because it made the most sense. And he said, good girl. Don't good girl me in an I'm not a dog. So I did the 3rd scene and I let them know. I was like, look, this one's a little shabby. And he was like, okay. And so I did it with scene in hand and that was the end of it. And at the end, I just thought it was a waste of time. And they ended up casting the role for a guy anyway. They didn't even know what they wanted. No, they didn't know what they wanted.
I know. I hated that whole experience. You know what's funny about that story is that I have a story piggyback off of that, which is that is the only time in my career where I've been hired to play auditions. I showed up the day of playing this same show she's talking about,
I
auditions.
don't know this story.
You do. You just forgot. I show up to play the auditions and I sat behind the piano for 2 hours, 3 hours, not one person came in to audition.
Oh, it was an open call.
It was an open call. See? And nobody came.
And this is what I remember
this. Because it was that bad.
There were
it had
rumblings.
A reputation.
Yeah, it was just, there were rumblings about this show and how the workshops had gone. And I was like, oh, you know, so yeah. I dodged a bullet. But that is one of my worst auditions.
Yeah.
It's your
crazy.
turn.
Oh.
Yeah, it's your turn. While Austin is finishing...
Well, I was going to say, fun fact.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know this. I used to be an actor. I still am. But, I mean, I'm in the union and all that stuff. I used to act a lot in Chicago. But...
Speaking of the union, do y'all want a video on the union? Let us know. Yeah.
All about the insides, outs, all stuff.
Yeah, when we started dating, you were an actor.
Yeah. So I'm a musician actor. I've been like, in a bunch of shows in the Chicago market. But then when I came to New York, it's like, I just didn't even try because I was just busy doing like Broadway music direction and playing in pits and stuff like that. So, but I want to tell you some of my audition stories today because I think it's, you might get a kick out of it because I'm definitely, we got like the professional version of stories and then we got like the amateur.
Oh, you tell good stories. Get out.
No, I meant like acting wise, like you're a professional actor, but me, I'm just kind of like a part-time, like amateur basically.
Oh, get out of here. He has, okay, so in Chicago, they have what are called the Jeff Awards. This guy has 3 different Jeff Awards, which is like the Tonys for Chicago. He has 3 different Jeff Awards for 3 different wins as a music director, as an actor, and a special award you got just for being phenomenal, and they couldn't find a category for you.
She digresses. Anyway, but
tell the story. But
my story, basically, the first story I wanted to share was I wanted an agent. Okay, I don't have an agent, but I wanted an agent.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wanted a good agent, so like, with as a music director working with actors, I was always, asking people what agent they had, who they liked, blah, blah, blah. So there's an agency in Chicago called Stewart, and a lot of people like Stewart in Chicago. They have a great reputation. And so I got an audition with Stewart through a friend of mine who was like, hey, I'll introduce you, you can go get an audition. So I was like, great. So I was like going into Stewart. And my thing was I wanted to get into Stewart. And I told them this. I said, look, my value to you is as an MD, as a, pianist in movies, like in the back, like an actor who also plays piano, who's like, good, that kind of world. I could be somewhat of an asset, maybe. That's, if there's anything for me, it would be there, right? But instead, they wanted to read me. They said, come in, but we want to hear, bring in a monologue or 2 monologues, maybe just 1 monologue. And I was like, okay, but what about piano and all that? You want to see that? They're like, no, just bring in monologues. I was like, okay, and that monologues are not my thing, especially for TV and film, because, it's just not what I do. So I prepared this monologue. I was like going over it a million times, but I was nervous. So when I went in, they put me, and the camera's like right in front of my face like this. So I had never done that before, ever. Not even selfie. Wasn't really a social media person at all. And so I have a camera, and then the guy's behind me. He's like, okay, go ahead. And I was like, I totally forgot everything. Aww. I forgot all of the script. I had no idea what it was, and I just started talking. I was like, John, I'm so upset with you. I can't, because it was dramatic. And I was like, I can't believe you would do this. And then I was like, just like start fake crying or something. I can't believe, because I couldn't remember the words. So I was just like searching, and I was like, and I was like, make it work. And then I was like, and then the guy's clearly looking at me like, wow. Like, you should not even have been allowed to enter the building, let alone like be in our agency. It was such a disaster. And of course, the worst part was I finished, and he was like, okay, so you're happy with that? And I was like, yeah. Because there's nothing better. And then he shook my hand. He was like, thank you so much. You know how they do that fake, like, thank you so much. And I was just like, don't lie, And then I left. And then of course, I had to call my friend who gave me the audition. I was like, it's not happening.
It's bad.
He's like, no, you're great. So I was like, no. It would never happen. But I was still a little upset because I was like, this isn't what I do. Like, it would have been better if they had me come in and play the piano and like talk and stuff. Because
I'm sorry.
It was traumatic. And I never got an agent again after that. I have no agent. Look,
if you're an agent watching and you want to represent this guy, he is amazing, and I am biased, but anyone that knows him knows how amazing he is. And he also dibbles and dabbles in playwriting as well.
Oh, yeah.
So While we're taking a little break,
hey,
we have some water bottles to show you guys. So these are our water bottles on our website. Austin designed these. Well, actually, Billy Woodward designed this logo.
The logo, yeah.
This is Billy Woodward. But Austin designed the I'm on Vocal Rest. And
it comes in very handy.
It's a really
when you
nice
want people,
bottle.
You need people to know that you're on vocal rest.
I feel like, what was this, 17 ounces? Something like that?
I don't
21
remember.
ounces?
Does it say?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but it's a lot.
It's you know,
a
it's all the
standard,
things that they say, right? Like BPA free, and it's like metal, and it's dishwasher safe, and all the good things, fun things. So anyway,
get
your water bottle, because I actually love them.
It's really nice. It's not cheap. Like it's good quality.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Okay, so this is my next terrible audition story, and it was for another Broadway audition, which, you know, it kind of sucks to be on this level and still making like snafus, but I was a little exhausted and overwhelmed, and my agent had me go in for a show that was going to Broadway. And I don't want to get too deep into the details because I really don't want you to know what show it was. But it was a comedy and going to Broadway. And the lead was traditionally not a woman of color, but they were looking for a woman of color for this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll go in. Well, I got the music and I wasn't gelling with it. Like, Austin, you remember me working on this music, and I was just like, what is it? How does it go? Oh my God. You know, so I'm working on it. And this is actually not a time when I was having vocal issues. But I basically got to the point where I put my hands up and I was like, I'm not going to be good at this, so I don't want to go in. And that's a lesson to learn. Just because you're not going to be good at something doesn't mean that you should quit. Like, you should still go for it. But anyway, I emailed my agent and I was like, oh my God, please, like, cancel this audition for me. I can't do this. I'm freaking out. And he was like, Adrienne, you are gonna piss this casting director off. You have to go in, please. If there's something wrong, if you're sick, I get it, but if you are able, you need to go in. And I was like, and at this point, now I haven't given the sides the time they need. Like, all I know is this song that I'm not singing well and that I don't want to sing. I kid you not. I go in there and I sing that song like I've been singing it every day for 5 years. Song done, out, perfect. But those sides that I did not work on because I thought that my agent was going to cancel this audition, those sides were a hot mess. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I mean, you were talking about a Tony Award-winning director in front of me, the casting director who's already pissed because my agent did try to cancel it. And so the casting director was giving me the cold shoulder hardcore. It was a tight room, okay? And I go there to do my sides, and I think that I can do these off book. I'm like, I'm off book. And it's a long side. It's about a 5-page side. Me and the reader are going and going, and there was one point where he kind of gave me like a weird look, and I was like, I don't know what that was about, but I'm in the scene, and then the scene's over. And then it dawned on me that I skipped 2 pages. And I said, oh, I skipped. And then the reader was like, yeah, you did. And everyone behind the table was like, yeah, you did. And I was like, oh my God. You know, and I don't even know if I did it over or if I was just like, well, like, can I leave now? I don't know what to do. And
just cut me loose.
Yeah, just cut me loose. Just let me go. Like cut the dead weight.
Right.
I left the audition and passed by an amazing actress, and she booked it.
Yeah. I know.
They probably saw the worst and the best audition like back to back. They were like, "We're done." Like. But yeah.
That feeling of it, just like, let me go, please.
Let me go.
I know this audition's terrible.
Cut me off the line, like.
I played so many auditions like that where you just feel really bad.
Oh no, I was like, I need to go get a donut. I feel awful.
You're just like, oh, they clearly, yeah. It's bad. Well, my next audition story is about when I, early on, this was like the beginning of my career, was I booked $1 Million Quartet, the tour, which was, you know, the story of Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, and who am I forgetting?
Your guy.
Oh, myself. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee.
Pianist. Anyway, it's the story of when they were all together one night and a little jam session. And,
on December 4th, my sister's birthday.
Yeah, jukebox musical. Anyway, a lot of fun. But I went into an audition for this show, and I got the first audition. I'm not a rock and roller at the time. I am now, but I wasn't at the time. I didn't really know like 1950s rock and roll. I didn't know it. But I've always been the type to like study something and like learn it. So the first audition, I studied it, and then I went in and played it, you know, and very square, like a classical version of rock and roll. I would be so embarrassed now if I heard that audition. But I instantly, like, it was like 8 bars into playing. They were like, great. And then they cut me off, and then they put me in the next round. And I guess it was just because I could open my mouth.
You're like, oh, you can do it.
I could play a little bit.
Singing and playing, next.
Like, it was literally like that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I got the next audition. Well, now they called me and they said the next audition is going to be in front of the director, going to be, you know, music director. Everybody's going to be there. And the show was already running at the Apollo Theater in Chicago. It had been running there. That's where it started. And so I could see the show. I could like get to know it. And the next audition was going to be, I want to say a couple months later. It was like, or 3 months later. It was like something, it was like a final callback 3 months later, but I skipped all the in-between stuff. So you have 3 months to learn rock and roll and to do this audition. So I was like, okay, so I'll learn. So I remember spending all of that amount of time studying it, playing it every day, learning the genre, learning how to play for real, getting with teachers, like really studying and learning how to play rock and roll music. All the licks. I watched Jerry Lee Lewis videos, learned all of his licks so that they would be natural to me in the audition. That's just kind of my personality. I have to like learn something. So then I get to the audition day. Do you remember this story?
You wouldn't talk about it.
Oh.
You were very like,
I was upset.
No.
I don't know if you remember how upset I was.
It was terrible, you know.
I was very pissed off on this day. But anyway, so I go to the audition. It's in the theater where the show is. So I was like, this is great. Like the audition was on the set. On the piano. You can't do this in Broadway, but in Chicago you can.
Except for all the movies that we've ever seen, auditions seem to be on a Broadway stage.
But not for real life.
Doesn't happen.
But in Chicago it is. I was on the set, I was on their piano, and I sit down and I'm ready. And they said, okay, Austin, let's hear. I want to say it was probably Great Balls of Fire. And so I start, in the beginning of Great Balls of Fire is in octaves. It goes, bum, 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 you shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Anyway, so I went, boom. I started the first note. Nothing happened. The piano, I'm playing the notes on the piano. Nothing is coming out of the piano.
You didn't tell me this.
The notes are broken. So I go, bump, and I like stopped because it didn't work. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And they're like, oh yeah, there's, you know, there's a couple strings, you know, off. It's okay. Just keep going. It's fine.
For a whole chord?
Yeah. Bump. Nothing. Then I go, bump, 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 bump. It sounded like, like, and I didn't even have the pedal down. And one of the strings, like the pedal wasn't working. It was like, it sounded like that. And I went, bump, 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 bump. It should have sounded like that. And it was like, oh
my God.
And then I'm playing and the piano just sounds like it was just like a sustained mess. A lot of notes weren't working at all. So instead of having this like amazing piano audition, it sounded like a 2-year-old. They were just like this. And I was so unbelievably shaken and my vocals were shaky and everything was like, because I would just like it just sounded like garbage. And I was pissed because I had just spent months working on how to be a great pianist. And I really wanted this audition. Like this would have been a big break for me to tour on a Broadway tour. Because I was doing nothing at the time, basically. But anyway, I did the audition. Terrible. I had to have been red in the face. I was so upset because I had wasted months of my life learning how to do it for this audition. And basically it rendered everybody equal because then I knew there were pianists coming in that couldn't play. They just played like, they pretended to play. And I was like, now I'm going to look like I don't know how to play, but I know how to play. I was so upset. And then I don't know what happened. Maybe like I didn't hear anything for a while. And then I got the call.
And then you booked it.
Yeah. Because I was on the golf course with Matthew. I remember that. On the golf, I don't golf.
He doesn't
I don't
golf.
golf.
That sounded like way like something he does.
I don't golf, but I remember
they go on this annual
there was a theater fundraiser
once a year.
Yeah, I don't golf.
Yeah,
but I remember I was on that golf course.
And you booked it.
Yeah. That's so funny. And then I ended up getting it, and it really changed my life in a lot of ways. But it was a terrible
That's a terrible audition.
Oh.
That's awful that they did that to you.
It was so terrible.
Like, what a setup. And they knew, like, how was that show being performed every night?
Exactly. That's actually funny. You know, it ended up, this is like not part of the thing, but I ended up becoming the piano technician for the show. I ended up building the pianos for the tour. I ended up going back to Chicago and helping them with their pianos. Reinforce them. I put like reinforcements to like help with the pianos. So it's just funny that it was like full circle. I ended up being like the consultant on how to take care of the pianos.
Yeah, that's a testament to you and your work ethic though. You see a problem, you want to solve it. You see a problem, you want to solve it.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to my final most terrible audition of life.
It's a good one.
Have you hit that like button? Have you hit the subscribe button and the notification so you don't miss our Broadway banter? We love chatting with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Or with you all. We love chatting with you all.
With you all.
Okay, so my friend Michael Podsick actually loves this story and remembers it better than I do because he was one of the first people I told it to after it happened. And he remembers it like it was yesterday. And I would like to forget. So this is my worst ever audition story. And unfortunately, it includes someone who I admire. His name is Spike Lee. So Spike Lee, the Spike Lee was in Chicago casting for the film Chirac. Which I have not seen to this day because of this terrible audition.
You're traumatized.
I refuse to see the movie. No shade to Spike Lee. It's all me. Yeah. Trust. So I went in for the initial audition, which was just on tape, and we weren't given a lot of material. Everything was very hush-hush. No one had the script, and even the sides were just whited out and just really your lines to the sides. And so I was very confused on context and everything. And if you've seen Spike Lee's films, you know that he is super artistic. Gotta use that R there. He's super artistic and stylized. So I had no clue where this movie was going. So I say that to say that's my disclaimer to make me feel better about my intentions, but feel free to laugh and clown me if you want. It's okay. I'm cool. I got thick skin. So anyway, I get the sides and they rhyme. And so I went into my agency's office and I did I did one take of the lines just straight. And then I did one take of the lines where I kind of like sang it a little bit. And
I don't think you kind of blew through that pretty quick. To reinforce what she just said, the sides, just a normal script, like just talking like you and I are talking.
It rhymed.
It just so happened that the sides kind of rhymed because I remember us talking about this. The sides had like a lilt to them.
Yeah.
And they definitely had like an iambic pentameter feel, and they did rhyme.
So I didn't know if he was going with a hip hop route or I didn't know what was going on. So I still haven't seen the film, so maybe you all know what was going on. I need to see the film.
So you did two versions of it.
I did two versions of it, and my agent sent them both off.
Yeah.
Well, I got a call back. So I thought, what I did worked. Right. I did something right. I stood out. They like me. They like what I did. And I asked my agent, what did they like? And I didn't really get any feedback on it. So I was kind of going in blind. So then I got the sides for the callback, and it was even fewer lines than before, and even less context. It was literally a line. Like, what are we gonna do about that? That was it. I no context, seriously. So I walked in, and it was at the Black Ensemble Theater.
Oh, yeah.
It was at the Black Ensemble Theater. So it was actually like really close to us at the time. Yeah. And I got there early and they were behind. And so I'm waiting. And with each passing moment, I am extremely nervous because my agent has let me know that it's going to be the casting director and Spike Lee at this audition. So I'm like, I'm about to meet Spike Lee. I'm about to meet Spike Lee. I'm fine. I only have one line to say. Don't mess it up. You got this. You got this. I'm just like calming myself down. I don't even remember what I wore. So I go in there, blind with, what are we gonna do about that? And the casting director's Kim Coleman. Shout out to Kim Coleman, she's amazing. I praise God that she still calls me in after this. And Spike Lee. And that's it. Yeah. I think there might have been someone on the video camera. So Kim Coleman, she speaks to me. Spike gets up, I'm just gonna call him Spike Lee. We're not on a first name basis. Spike Lee gets up, he shakes my hand, he's looking at my resume. And then I'm speaking to Kim Coleman, but kind of quietly because I don't want the whole room to hear me. But I asked her, so is this one just spoken or did you want me to sing? And then I hear Spike Lee say, singing? Singing? And I was like, oh, no, never mind. No, forget it. And he was like, singing? He said it again. And I was like, nothing. It's just, it doesn't matter. I didn't feel like getting into the whole explanation of, oh, I sent in this video and this, and I wasn't sure what you wanted to do. I felt like I sounded like a crazy person. And so then the other note that I kind of needed before I walked in the room is that they wanted people to ad-lib or they wanted people to improvise. I've never improvised in my life, and I did not know that that's what they wanted. So I said my line, what are we gonna do about that? Or whatever the line was. And Kim Coleman starts improvising with me. She's saying lines and I'm looking at her like, what?
What's happening?
I had no scene. I had a line.
You gotta tell.
No scene, no context, going in blind.
Yeah, you was about to go, what we gonna do about that?
I was like, what we gonna do about that? They would have been like, what?
Sing.
So after that, I'm like hot with embarrassment. I can't wait to get out of the room.
Funny.
And so then he's looking at my resume the whole time. And he sees that I'm a Spelman graduate and he's a proud Morehouse graduate. And so he got up, he was like, Spellhouse, and he gave me a hug. And I just knew it was a pity hug. It was a pity hug. He was like, this girl is stupid. So that was my worst ever audition. And to add insult to injury, that evening I was singing for a gala for Court Theater, and it was at the Ritz. It was at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago. And we were on like the 6th floor changing, and we came down and my hair was like in prep or whatever. So I wasn't looking like, gala ready yet. Yeah. And Kim Coleman was on the elevator.
Oh yeah, right.
No lie. She was on the elevator and my stupid behind was like, oh, hi. Because I couldn't help myself. And I said hello to her and she's like, hello. And I was like, I'm Adrienne. I was at the auditions earlier. And she said, Adrienne Walker? And I swear to you, my whole stomach dropped to the floor because I was like, she remembers me and not in a good way. And that is my worst audition ever. And the day I forget it will be a day that I am blessed.
Oh, that was a good story.
Terrible.
That one kills me every time we talk about it. We talk about that one all the time. We'll bring it up. Singing.
No, I don't bring it up. He brings it up. Michael brings it up.
Oh, well, thanks for listening to our stories. We hope it makes you feel better about your auditions.
Yeah, everyone has bad auditions.
We all have bad auditions,
yeah.
let me tell you. You're not alone.
Don't be like us.
Yeah, don't
be
like
better than us.
Oh, well, thanks for hanging in there with us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Tell your friends.
And do you have a terrible audition story that you would like to share so that we feel a little better? Because if you do, drop it down below.
Yeah, we want to hear your audition stories. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Well,
that's it.
We're crying with laughter. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.